Hey everybody, this is the second video on solving equations. And so if you watch the first one, you'll notice I changed things up a little bit here with the steps. On the first video I combined steps 1 and 2, but I wanted to go ahead and separate them because I feel like that may help some people. But the first thing you want to do when you're solving an equation is, if you can distribute, so notice it says if necessary, then you want to distribute. So if we look at this problem here, we can actually distribute this 2 here. So I can distribute that 2 into the x and the minus 4. And we know to distribute when we have something on the outside of the parentheses that is being multiplied by something inside of parentheses. And when we distribute, we multiply. So 2 times x is 2x. 2 times negative 4, because of the minus 4, is negative 8. Okay, and then everything else just drops. Oops. Alright, so that's the first step. The second step is combine like terms, and notice it says if necessary. Now this is going to be very important, and I think something that has to be said about combining like terms, because this is where some kids will mess up. We cannot combine these 2x and negative x even though they are like terms, and the reason we can't combine them is because they're on opposite sides of this equal sign. So when you're combining like terms, they have to be on the same side. So that is very important. If they're not on the same side of the equal sign, you can't combine them. So we also can't combine the negative 8 and 16. I see a lot of students wanting to combine like terms that are not on the same side. So you can't do that. So really it says if necessary. Here it's not necessary because these are not like terms, we can't combine them. These are not like terms, we can't combine them. So we're done with that step. Now, the next part says check if there is an x. Oh, this marker may not be working. Let me use another one. Check if x is on both sides. And in this case, it is on both sides. So, and this is also where students tend to mess up, is when there's an x on both sides, they tend to not know what to do there. If there is an x on both sides, you need to move one of them. And what I usually do is if one of them's negative like this one, I usually move that one because it keeps things positive. So the way I move minus x is by adding x here. And then I'm also going to add x here. Now these cancel, so we're left with 16 over here. And 2x plus x, so you think of this as like 1x. So 2x plus 1x is 3x. Minus 8 equals 16. Okay, so that was that step. Now, this is the sort of the meat, is where it says isolate x. Okay, so basically all that means is get x by itself. And notice, I mentioned this in the last video, opposite backwards. So I'm trying to get this x by itself, so I'm going to go ahead and put a nice little box around it. And so what you want to ask yourself is, what is being done to x in what order? So what is being done to x is being multiplied by 3, and then you're subtracting 8. Now notice, I want to do the opposite backwards. So the last thing being done to x, so notice we said x times 3 and then minus 8. So the last thing being done to x is the minus 8. So that's going to be the first thing we do the opposite of. So we're going to add 8 to both sides. And again, I see some people want to divide by 3 here. We want to do what's being done to x last. We want to undo it first. And so that goes away. The 3x comes down. And 16 plus 8, last time I checked, is 24. And then 3 is being multiplied by x, so I want to undo that by dividing by 3. So 3's simplify there, and I get x equals 8. And so I'm going to do one more video on solving equations. Hopefully this helps. I think these steps will help you when you're solving equations. Again, there are other times where you can combine like terms. So combining like terms kind of happens sometimes in multiple steps. So you always want to combine like terms if you can. But I do feel like this will help most people. And in geometry, you're going to need to know how to solve equations. So please make sure you know how to do that.